Hello everyone, welcome to Swiflearn live classes. Welcome to the YouTube channel named Swiflearn. We are excited to have you all here with me to the new session number 2 of lines and angles. So before starting the topic, directly understanding what is lines and angles, let us understand what is Swiflearn. What are we? Whatever the company is. So Swiflearn is an online platform where we give 100% live and interactive classes. So it is a live class where the students on the other hand can ask the doubts there and then. Yes, we are sitting here just waiting for you guys to log into the application, join your class, and the teacher is there right in front of you to clear all your doubts there and then. So the best part is that we give and personalized attention. So personalized attention means that maximum of 6 students would be there in a class. So it's a group of 6 students sitting together. That is also maximum. So maximum of 6 students would be there in the class. Whereas in school, when we sit, there are around 30, 40 students, right? So it's very difficult for the teacher to clear all the doubts. Yes. So it's not practical actually. It's not her fault, but it's not practical for her to solve all the doubts of the 30 students in that 1 hour and deliver the session and complete the chapter as well. So this helps us that with 6 students, we are able to concentrate more. We know where that the students have a problem and where do they lie. Like what are their mistakes? Minor ones are also tackled here. Thirdly, there is a dedicated mentor team to track and work on students' progress. Yes, a dedicated mentor team is there which keeps a track of your classwork, your homework, your attendance, and where did you stand when you joined us before and where you are today. So all the things are tracked. Okay. And the best part is that we cover the school syllabus, which is already there in the exams, and we also cover the handle custom requests. So that means that if you think that this topic is not in your course, it is in a higher classes, but still you are so smart enough that you want to learn that topic from us. So we are there to help you. So we can customize it. We can add the topics whichever you want to study according to your own choices. So it's all flexible. Right. So all of these points makes it the India's most sincere destination for classes 3rd to 10th. That's right. We teach from students from grade 3rd to 10th, and that makes us easier and to concentrate on this small children so that the minor details and the mistakes which you are occurring in a smaller age that don't get permanent and that can be rectified in an early stage that you can bloom and grow in your ahead classes. Okay, so the key features, I'll repeat myself again, that there is detailed progress report. So this is the statistics that is available on your platform, which helps you to know where are you when you logged in and now where do you stand. There is also, we also conduct a Swiflearn academic test series. We call it SATs. So that happens on every Sunday on a national and international platform on our website and on our Facebook, Instagram, social medias. So where you can enroll yourself and see where do you like and where do you stand on the international platform. After all, it's the competitive world, right? You want to know where have you stand. How well do you know the topic? How well do you know it? And how ahead are you from the other peoples around the world? So this SATs helps you for the preparations and make you stand apart. We also provide unlimited practice test series. So there is unlimited test series that keeps on happening and we keep on giving you. So the practice makes a man perfect. We follow that rule. Yes, we give you unlimited practice tests so that you can be perfect in your life and you can achieve your dreams, what you desire. Lastly, it's a subjective test for the school exams. See, subjective tests, we can give you multi-choice, right? But that is very easy. You already know. So out of which we are able to eliminate being smarter enough, right? We can eliminate 2 and after 2 we can choose anyone. But exactly, do you know the knowledge? Do you know the concept or not? That is only justified or known by you by the subjective test, by steps. Are you able to reach to the answer perfectly or not? So this subjective test is also conducted at our platform. So we are able to know exactly the steps which are required in the school. Are you able to follow those or not? I hope you think that yes, Swiflearn is a good company and we are teaching here live for you so you can never miss any update. So easy way out is kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Press on the bell icon so that you never miss any update and you never miss our classes which are going online for you, especially for you guys, right? Okay, I hope you have pressed the subscription and please also hit a like if you like this session. Okay, end of the session, if you like that I'm teaching good and I can be with you, I can help you more in your studies, then kindly click on the like button. Okay, so let's start our today's topic, lines and angles part 2. So we have already discussed the part 1. I hope you have gone through that if you were not there present live. But if you haven't, then kindly go back to that video and learn the basics and then you can continue. But right now you can be with me right here if you are there live with me. Yes, so you can be with me here. I can see your comments if you're there and we can connect. Okay, so let's see what we have discussed already and what we are going to discuss today. So we already discussed what's our lines, what an angles are, what is an acute, obtuse, different types of angles. But today that we have done in the session 1. Okay, but today's objective is we will study what is intersecting and non-intersecting lines. So we have discussed already what are lines, rays, and line segment are. But now we'll move ahead. We'll learn more in depth what is intersecting and non-intersecting lines, pair of angles. So what are pairs of angles? Pair means something which is two. So two angles, something of that sort. We'll study today. So there are different types of angles. There are adjacent angles, complementary angles, vertically opposite angles, and supplementary angles. So these are the types of angles that we're going to study. And we are also going to study the questions based on adjacent angles, supplement angles, and vertically opposite angles. So we'll not only study the concept, but we'll also use those concepts in practically solving the questions which are there in your textbooks. So let's start. Before that, why not revise what we have done in the previous class? Okay, can you name me the different types of angles? Yeah, who all are there? Kindly comment. I'm waiting for your comments. Different types of angles that we have studied in the session 1. Yes. So they were acute, something like acute, right angles, yes, obtuse, reflex, and complete angle, right? We did 5 of them. Okay, let me ask you a practical question. So this is a clock that's showing a 3 o'clock time, right, in the morning. What angle are being made by the 2 hands of the clock? So these are the 2 rays or the 2 hands of the clock. And what is the angle made at this point, at the center? Can you tell me what is the angle made at the center? Yes? Perfect. It's a right angle. Yes, it's making an L, and L stands for right angled. Right. Very good. Now, can you give me some real examples of an angle? Any examples which you think which is good? Real examples, real life examples of an angle? Yes. Think over it. Angles are all around the nature, all around us. The buildings are made with angles. We have studied that in the previous session, right? So any more practical examples? Scissors. Yep, the clock. What else? Cloth hangers, scissors, arrowheads, party openers. Then doors, pyramids, set of square, edges of rulers, edges of tables, and wheels, cycles, etc. are the examples, real angle examples. So the wheel has those 4 that makes an angle. So how we give those 4 supports to the wheel so that it moves smoothly and the brakes are able to apply and they are stopped. So even in that portion of the cycle circle, there are 4 arms, the 4 like 2 lines crossing, and there is a center in between, right, for the wheel. So the angles that they are making, that also help us in the working of the car. So the minor details, these all are used. Not only in the practical, even the alphabets, they also have an angle. Have you ever thought about this? No, right? Yeah, so different alphabets also form an example of angles. What is it? An angle with the letter V. So what angle is the V making? Yes. An acute, right? It is very small in between. So it's an acute angle. Well done. Okay, even we make different angles in different postures which we doing yogas and exercise. So while we do the yoga, we do the stretching, we make different angles, right? So this is also a practical example. Okay, so this is a question for you. Let's see, are you able to understand and are you able to solve or not? Name the angles when the time in a clock is 3:40 p.m. Is it obtuse or a reflex or a acute angle? So what angle isn't formed in this clock right now? Yes, give me the answer. Let me see, do you know it or not? Yeah, name the angle that is formed here. Yes, guys, comment it. Okay, so I am getting two answers here. That is obtuse or reflex. No one is saying cute. That is sure. It's not a small one. It is a big one, right? Okay, so let's see which angle are we talking about. It is an obtuse or a reflex angle. See, if you're talking about this angle or am I talking about this angle? Are you sure? I just asked you the angle. So if you're thinking about this 1 and 2, okay, let me tell you. If you're thinking of angle 1, then you will say it is an obtuse. Okay, you'll say this or you'll say it's reflex. What will you say? Okay, and if you're talking about angle 2, I'm just confusing you. I just want to know what is in your mind. So it is reflex. This is what happens in students' mind. So I'm just reading your mind right now. So is it a obtuse or a reflex? That you want to know, right? Okay, now I'll tell you how to do it. See, the angle is always and always calculated anti-clockwise, like this way. So if I'm talking about any angle, that means I'm talking about this angle. I'm not talking about this angle at all, unless and until I specify and give the names. Okay. In this case, when the angle we are talking about from here, what will be the angle now? Will it be obtuse or reflex? Okay, I'll help you with some more detail. Okay, let's make a straight angle first. Let's do that. Can you see this? This is a straight line and this is more than straight. So when an angle is more than a straight line, more than 180 degree, what do we call? Do we call it obtuse or do we call it reflex? Yes? What do we call it? That's right, we call it an reflex angle. So see what it says, the angle that is measured in an anti-clockwise manner. Thus, the angle formed is a reflex angle, not an obtuse angle. Getting the point? So angle is always formed and calculated anti-clockwise. We never calculate clockwise. Okay, clear with this? That is why this example, in this when someone asks you what's an angle, you have to say it's a reflex angle. Okay, great. So do you know about intersecting lines? What are intersecting lines? Yeah, any idea? What are intersecting lines? We have already discussed that when two lines meet at a point, right? When two lines intersect and cross at each other. So they meet at a point, that we call it an intersecting line. So intersecting lines are the lines which cross each other. So they are meeting at a point. Okay, we have done this in the previous session. And non-intersecting lines, pretty easy, right? Which do not meet. Just opposite. Intersecting that meets and non-intersecting that do not meet each other, right? Okay, moving on to the next one. Now coming to what are angles. So there are complementary angles and one more angle is supplementary angles. So let's see different types of angles. What do we mean by complementary angles? See, whenever we form an angle, it can be that there are more of the lines coming from inside it, right? In this, let's consider this case. So we are talking about this big angle. Let me name it first. So this is A, this is O, this is B, and let it be C. All right. So if I'm talking about these angles, so what do I mean? See, if I'm talking about angle AOB, getting the point? If I'm talking about angle AOB, that means I'm talking about both the angles. I'm talking about A as well and B. That means it will be always equal to angle A plus angle B. This is what is written, right? So when the sum of two angles are equal to 90 degree, whenever the sum of the two angles are equal to 90 degree, we call it complementary angles. So complement means complementing each other, right? Complementary means complement each other. So when two angles sum come together and then form 90 degree, then we call it complementary angles. Okay, great. Moving on to the next one. Supplementary angles. So supplementary means something more when you need a supplement. Like when you are when the doctor says that you need some supplement, that means you're having something less in your body, right? You need something more, something extra. Let's compare to that. So when two angles, their sum comes something more than 90 degree, that is more, a bigger number. Comparatively, it is a bigger number. So it comes out to be how much? 180 degree. So when the sum comes out to be 180 degree that form a straight line, we call it a supplementary angles. When two angles whose sum is 180 degree, we call them supplementary angles. Clear with this one? Yeah. So let's revise it. Complementary, when the sum of two angles are 90 degree, we call it complementary. Supplement something big. Comparatively, you can learn it. 90 and 180, don't get confused. So when supplementary is always something extra, that is bigger one. So when the two angles that sum up to be 180 degree, they form like a straight line, we call it supplementary angles. So see, it's a straight line that is forming. Clear with this one? Okay. Moving on to the third type, that is adjacent angle. What do we mean by adjacent? Something which is together, right? It's adjacent to each other. That is what we say. So by the name itself, we are able to classify this, what type of angle it is. So two angles are said to be adjacent if they have a common vertex and a common arm, and their non-common arms are non-different side of the same arm. You getting the point? What I want to say is, see, there is one arm which is common. Which is the common arm here? This one. Can you see? This is a common arm. And what is happening is, there are two angles, they are formed next to each other. Just one arm is common and the rest arms are just adjacent and they have just one vertex, which is this one. This is the only vertex. Clear with this one? So that is why we say when two angles are adjacent, when the sum is always equal to the angle formed by the two non-common arms. So what does that mean? This angle and this angle sum will be becoming the bigger angle that we have discussed in the previous. So by this we say these two angles are adjacent angles. Clear? Okay, good. Now linear pair. See, linear pair of an angles, what is it? Now, ma'am, what is linear pair? You will be confused. So many different types of angles. Don't be. It's very simple. Just like a supplementary angles that sums up to be 180 degree. So two angles that's said to be linear if they are adjacent angles formed by the two intersecting lines. The linear pair of the angle must add up to be 180 degree. So similarly, there is a straight line. This is the one which is intersecting. So when these two sum up and they come up to be 180 degree, then we call it a linear pair. So two angles are said to be linear if they are adjacent angles. So just they are next to each other and they are formed by two intersecting lines. The linear pair of the lines must add up to be 180 degree. Okay. Now vertically opposite angles. What is opposite? Just above that, right? If I'm standing here, if I say that's opposite me, that opposite my house, just opposite. So vertically means straight opposite one. So two angles which are formed opposite to each other when the two lines intersect at a common point or a vertex. See, there is a common point and a vertex here. Can you see here? Yeah, and that's why they are just vertically opposite, exactly opposite to each other. So we say that the vertically opposite angles are always equal. Okay, I repeat myself, when the two angles are formed when the two lines intersect each other. See, this line is intersecting the other one. Can you see this one? Yeah. So this line is intersecting this line, right? So what is happening is, see, this line, there's one intersecting line, and this one is a second intersecting line, right? So these two lines are intersecting each other at this point. What is this point called? O, right? And at O intersecting the vertex, we are making, how many angles are we making? First of all, let's study that. So we are making 4 angles. One angle is here, one angle is also here, right? So we're making 4 angles. So if I say these 2 angles, they are vertically opposite. Similarly, we say that this angle and this angle, angle A and angle B, are equal. On the same terms, when we realize that, see, these 2 are also vertically opposite. If I name them D and if I name them C. So C and D are also vertically opposite. In this case, we can also say that angle C is equals to angle D. So at a point, we make 4 angles and both the vertically opposite angles are always equal. Am I clear? Yeah? Okay. Now, when we have learned the definition of some of the pair of angles, such as complementary angles, supplementary angle, adjacent, linear pairs, etc. Can you find some of the relation between these angles? There's some relation between these angles that we are going to study. So now let us find out the relation between the angles formed when a ray stands on a line. And pairs of angles. So what happens is, there is some rules which are understood, which are taken for sure that they are true. Okay. So which of them is, if a ray is a straight stands on a line, then the sum of 2 adjacent angles formed is 180 degree. See, this we have already done in a form and example. I'll explain it again. See, this is a straight line. Suppose this is a ray and there is this line becoming, which is intersecting or passing through this one. So what is happening here is, we are making 2 angles here, right? We are making one angle, this one, and the other one will be angle number this. So let me say this is angle number A, angle named A. This is angle named B. So this says that if a ray stands on a line, so if this ray is standing or passing through a line, then the sum of the 2 adjacent angles. Which are the 2 adjacent angles in this ray? It's angle A and angle B. They are 2 adjacent to each other, and we make it sure that angle A plus angle B will be equal to 180 degree. Clear with this one? They will always form 180 degree. Okay. Moving on to the second one, it says that if the sum of 2 adjacent angle is 180 degree, then the non-common arm of the angles will form a line. Making the same way, saying the same thing in some other way. The other way around. What does it say? That if the sum is 180 degree, then the 2 non-common arms, which are not common. See, this one is the common between both of them, right? This is common arm. But which is not common? This arm, let me name it A, capital B, and capital C. So we know that capital OB, so this capital B is a common arm, right? OB is a common arm. Whereas OA and OC is a non-common arm, right? So that says that when these angles sum becomes 180 degree, then the non-common arms will form a line. Of course, this is a line, straight line, right? This is what we have discussed. So we make this sure and we assume it that these 2 are the points that make them a linear pair. So according to these 2 rules, we make an exidums, that means that they are the linear pairs. So we have to just learn this, and this is the basic rule that is followed by which all this system is working. Clear with this one? Okay, let's move to the theorems. Ma'am, theorem is very difficult. We are not able to solve it, right? This is the normal statement. Ma'am, how do we learn the theorems? It's so difficult. But you don't need to learn the theorems if you know the concept. Theorems are very easy. Just follow how the things are given and you will be able to understand. Okay, so let's see, are you able to solve this or not? So first says theorem number 1. If two lines intersect each other, then the vertically opposite angles are equal. So we have discussed that they are equal. But how they are equal, this we are going to prove it now. Okay. So let's say AB is a line and CD is a line. They are intersecting each other at O. So, okay, we'll make it, see when it says that two lines intersect each other. So we'll make it sure that we are making two lines. So what is given to us and what we have to prove. So it's suppose AB and CD are the two lines intersecting each other at point O. This is given to us, right? And what we have to prove is that the vertically opposite angle, so angle AOT and angle COB are equal. These are the vertical opposite. Similarly, we have discussed that also, that the other two angles which form is angle AOC and angle BOD. So these two has to be also equal. So what do we need to prove? That these two respective angles and these two are equal. How will we do this? Think over it. I'll give you a few seconds to think. So we have this picture and we have to show that these two angles are equal. How we are going to prove it? Think over it. Yeah. Okay, so let's try it. I'll tell you. Easiest way is, see, OA is the line or a ray that stands on the line CD. I'll tell you. See, OA is a ray that stands on the line CD. That means these two are forming a linear pair. This is the straight line. And then the sum of these two angles will be 180 degree. Clear with this one? That means angle AOC plus angle AOT will be 180 degree. Let me make it again. See, this is a straight line which we are talking about. I'm extending it so that it makes more broader and clear. And this is a ray being formed, right? So this is a straight line which is forming a ray. So from linear pair, we get to know that angle AOC plus angle AOT, they become 180 degree, right? Similar logic, if I say OD, this one, OD is on that, so that makes it a ray which is on the line CD. That means COB and BOD, their sum is also equals to 180 degree, right? Can I do this? I can take any one. I can take on the top. I can take at the bottom. It's our choice. It's no hard and fast rule for this. Okay, so this is what we have done so far. So angles AOC plus angle AOD is equals to 180 degree as a linear pair. Similarly, angle AOD and BOD is 180 degree. Done with this, AOD. So AOD and BOD. If we think of this line also, then what is happening is, this is a straight line and this is a ray OD that is passing. With the same logic, angle AOD and angle BOD is equals to, their sum is equals to 180 degree. Now we got two statements. Why not put their values to each other? When we're putting the values to each other, it comes out that angle AOC is equals to angle BOD by cutting angle AOD, which is common, right? So we get this. Similarly, we can prove on the other side that angle AOD is equals to angle BOC. So we got to know just by using one rule which we have already learned, that they form a straight line and a ray is crossing, their sum is 180 degree. Just doing the same thing with the other one and just putting their values and cancelling, we're getting the answer. Pretty easy. Okay, the same way we will go for the lower ones and put their values, and we'll get to know that by cancelling, they both are also equal. That's why we have considered and we are making a rule that when two lines are intersecting, the vertically opposite angles are always equal. This is a theorem and this is the rule that we will be using in our questions later. Clear with this one? Okay. Let us have some example. So this is an example that we have to solve using those theorems and the properties which we have studied so far. If at angle P, Q and R, so this is an angle PQR, is equal to angle PRQ. So these two angles are equal. Okay, so this angle and this angle are equal. Then we have to prove that triangle PQS. So we have to prove the outer exterior angle and the angle PRT. This exterior angle are equal. So see, we have already done interior and exterior. So they are saying that these two interior angles are equal to each other. And we have to prove this exterior angle are equal to each other. So how we're going to do it? Think about it, otherwise I'll tell you. Yeah, let's see who can solve, who can give me a link. Yeah, solution is already there. Please don't see that, okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. So we can see that PQS and PQR. So let's concentrate on only this side. Okay, let's concentrate only on this side first. So let me clear everything and I'll make you understand. This is a straight line and this is a ray. Right, this is a ray. So that means this angle which is formed here and this angle which is forming here, this are the linear pair, right? And the sum of these two angles will be 180 degree. Clear with this one? So we know angle PQS and angle PQR, they sum up to be 180 degree. So we can calculate the value of PQS from this, PQR from this, or PQS. Wherever we want, we can do that. So it's saying that angle PQS is equals to 180 degree minus angle PQR. Yes, clear? Clear with this one? Let's move to the other point, this here. At the point P, the same logic is being applied and we'll get to a rule that says that having the same drawing here. So PRQ and angle PRT are forming on the straight line and where PR is a ray. So according to this, these two angles sum up to be 180 degree because they are linear pair. So by this, we can calculate that PQR and angle PRT is equals to 180 degree. Clear with this one? Sure? Okay. Just use the linear pairs on the two vertices Q and R. Till now, we have done nothing else. And after this, we have calculated the value of the angle that we need to calculate. It is PRT is angle 180 degree minus PRQ. Just finding it from this rule. Okay. Now, what was given to our question before? What was given into the question? That angle PQR and angle PRQ are equal. This was given. So why not just put their values there? Right? We are just putting the values in the equation that we have found it before. So now, in this equation, when we know that PRQ is equals to PQR, I can put this value. Now from equation 1 and equation 2, it's 180 degree minus PQR. Both of them are the same. By putting their values, we realize that angle PQS is equals to angle PRT. So if the interior angles are equal, that means the exterior one on the same line will also be equal. This was a question and we have solved it. I hope it is clear. Yeah. Okay, so I can repeat what I have done so far. We have just used the linear pair on the vertex of Q and the same at the vertex of R, that these two angles are forming and their sum is 180 degree. Similarly with this, now what have it given? It's given in the question that angle PQR and angle PRQ are equal. So just replacing in one equation, putting any one value equal to the other one. After this, we know that both the equation says that they are 180 degree minus that angle. Both of them are equal. So that's why the value is equal. Then their answer is also equal. That shows that angle PQS is equal to angle PRT. Solved. Okay, clear? Good. So now this is the question that we have to do. It says that OP, OQ, OR and OS are the four rays. Okay, we can see that there are four rays with the vertex at O, common vertex, right? Okay. Now what do we have to prove? We have to prove that angle POQ plus QOR plus SOR, or we can say ROS, mean the same thing, plus POS, their sum is equals to 360 degree. This is what we have to prove. So how will we start our question? Yeah, how will we start our question? Think. Okay, you can say, ma'am, we already know it's a circle, complete we are talking about. It has to be 360 degree. Yeah, that's there, but we can't say it directly, right? We have to prove that. There has to be some calculation to it. So how will we go about it? See, what we'll do in this question is, can we see any straight line so that we can form a linear pair? No, we cannot. So why not make it? So when I make a linear line, I make a line that is a straight line that can make a linear pair, then that linear pair logic can be worked, that this is a ray passing from this point, there will be adjacent angles will be 180 degree. Same property, can I use that? Yeah. So we are going to use the same property here. But what is it? Now it is not given, so we'll construct it. We'll make an imaginary line. So at first, let's make a ray OT. It's an imaginary ray. It's not what we have done. We have just extended this one. Okay. So moment we extend it, we make a line TOQ. Right. Now we see that OP is a ray on TOQ. So the angle that is QOP plus angle POT will be equal to how much? 180 degree from the linear pair. Right? Correct? So these two sum out to be 180 degree. We make them equation 1. Just leave it there. Done. We have solved the upper portion. Let's do the other one. So what does the other one say? That this is OS is a line. So that means this angle QOS plus angle SOT. Now listen to me very carefully. This says that this angle and this whole big angle we are talking about. So angle QOS plus angle SOT will be equal to 180 degree. It's not saying that this three angles will be equal. But we know that if I'm talking about angle QOS, if I'm talking about this angle, what does this mean? It is equal to angle QOR, right? Plus angle ROS. We know that this angle is equal to these two sum. So by putting this value in this first equation, we can say that all the three angles sum up to be 180 degree. Right? Can we say this or not? Yes, so this is what we have solved. So this says that TOS and SOQ makes up to be whole 180 degree in the figure. But we also know that angle SOQ is equals to angle SOR plus QOR. This is what is written. Right. Now putting this value back to the equation first, which was the linear pair, we got to know that sum of the three angles is also equal to 180 degree. Right. Now equation 1 and equation 2. Let's add both the equations. On adding both the equations, we get to know that all the angles are equal to 180 plus 180 is 360 degree. This is what we had to prove. So from the figure, we got to know that angle TOP and TOS, this T we had made, right? This is what, now the variation is everything in T, but the T was not given in the question. So why not remove it? Now we all know from the figure that this angle, sum of these two angles will be equal to the angle POS. Just putting their values there, and we get to know that the sum of the four angles that are formed here is equals to 360 degree. Am I clear with this one? Pretty easy, right? Just putting the values and using the linear pair. Nothing much. Okay, so let's solve this. Now let us solve some of the questions. The line PQ and RS intersect each other at point O. If POR and ROQ are equal to 5:7, we have to find all the angles. So right now what all was given? It was given that they are equal, but the ratios were not given. We did not know the angles. We just knew the sum of the angles. But now they want us to find out the exact value of the angles at which they are intersecting. So now they are telling us, they are giving us a value that they are intersecting each other by 5:7. Now, is to 7, that means they are ratios, and we know how to convert the ratios into fractions. That we have done it before, right? So if I talk about angle POR, and it says angle ROQ. So first of all, I know OPQ is a straight line and OR is a ray. That means these two will form a linear pair. Clear with this one, right? This logic is clear. We are doing so far in so many questions. So by this, we get to know that they are the linear pair angles. Now the ratio is given to us that they both are in the ratio 5:7. Now we know that when we convert a ratio into fraction, the numerator is the ratio and the denominator of the fraction becomes the sum of both the ratios. So 5 plus 7 is 12. So the ratio of angle POR will be 5/12 into 180 degree. Why 180 degree? Because the total is 180 degree, right? From this, we calculated the value of angle POR, which comes out to be 75. Similarly, putting the value 7/12, we get the value of 105 degree of angle ROQ. Now, we have got two values. We have to find the other two. We have got two values. We got this 75. We got this value of 105, I suppose, right? This was the answer in the question. Yeah, 105 and 75. Now, let's do this. So, we got this. It is 75 degree, right? And this one is 105 degree. This we have calculated so far, right? Now we have to calculate the value of this angle and this angle, these two angles which are formed here. How will we do it? Pretty easy. See, this angle is vertically opposite to this angle. That means this angle is also 75 degree. Same logic applying to this angle ROQ is equal to angle POS because they are vertically opposite. That means this angle is also equals to 105 degree. Solved. Easy, right? Yeah, are you able to follow that? We have just calculated these two values by using the ratio and the linear property. By getting the values, we know that now they are vertically opposite. With that, we have learned from the intersecting lines property, and we are just putting and calculating that value. Just saying that they are vertically opposite, so that's why their values are equal. See, vertically opposite angles, therefore their values are equal. Easy? Okay, great. So this is test yourself. This you have to do it. This is your question right now. The lines X and Y is a line, and M and N is a line that intersect at point O. Now it's given that angle POY is 90 degree. And it is also given that the angles A and B are in the ratio 2:3. We have to find the value of C. Now, how will we do this? Think over it. Yeah, tell me quickly. How will we do this? This is quite interesting one. Yes, so this is 90 degree and these two ratios are given 2:3. But we have to find out the value of the C at the bottom. Relation on the top is given. How will we calculate the value of C, which is not at all related? Is it? No, right? How will we do this now? Think over it. Okay, great. Well done, students. Let's do it together. See, it says angle POY is 90 degree, right? And we know that this is a straight line. Yeah, it's straight line. So angle POY, I'll write this. See, angle POY plus angle XOP will become 180 degree. This is clear? Why? Because they are linear pair. This is a ray, right? Now, if I know the value of this one, it's 90 degree. So can I calculate the value of XOP? So I know this is also 90 degree. 180 degree minus 90 degree come out to be 90 degree. Clear with this one? Why? It's 180 degree minus 90 degree. That gives me, it is 90 degree. Right? Now I got the value of this 90 degree. Now we know that these two are related to each other in the ratio 2:3. So let's calculate the value of B. Why I'm not calculating the value of A? Because I'm saving my time. Why? I'll tell you later. Let's see. First let's calculate the value of B. How? We'll calculate the value of B. B is 3/5 of how much? 90 degree, right? Because this ratios comes up to sum up to be 90 degree. That we have calculated. So by this, what do we get to know? The value of B. On cancelling this become 18. 18 3s are 54, right? So this comes out to be 54 degree. Clear with this one? Yeah. Okay, so I've got to know the value of this is 54 degree. I could have calculated the A also, and then I could have subtracted from 90 degree to get it B value, right? Or other way around also I can do it. 90 degree minus 54 degree, that comes out to be 36 degree. This has to be there, which you can calculate by 2/5 of 90 degree, right? So 18 into 2 is 36. So similarly, you can get the values. But it was not required in the question. It was asking the value of C. So even if I don't calculate the value of A, it is pretty easy. It's not a problem. That won't deduct your marks because it's not asked. Now what is it asking? It's asking the value of C. Now let's do this. How will we solve the value of C? Any idea? Yeah, can you tell me? Yeah, Darshan, I can take your name. That's not a problem. But can we study? Can I know that you are understanding in my class? Okay. So see, this is a line, straight line, and OX is a ray. So I know these two form a linear pair, right? So 180 degree minus 54 degree. What does the value of C comes? It comes out to be 126 degree. Clear with this one? So if I know this 180 degree because they are linear pair. So on subtracting 180 degree minus 56 degree, we get the value that is 126 degree. So can you see the relation? Even if it is coming down, it is not related at all. No information is given to us, but we know the properties, we know the rules, and we are able to calculate that. This is what happens with you students. You don't remember the properties or the rules, due to which you think, ma'am, question mein information is not given us properly. Each and every question that is made has the complete information, because it's pre-understood that you know these properties or not. And if you know it, then only you can solve it. Clear? Okay, so just learn these properties. Another question. Let's do this one. A line AB and CD intersect each other at O. An angle AOC and BOE, they form 170 degrees. So this angle and this angle sum out to be 70 degree. Okay. And it is given that angle BOD. So this angle is given to me is 60 degree. Clear? All right. So now I have to find the angle BOE. So BOE is this one. Okay, this I need to find out. And I have to find the reflex angle. So what is the reflex angle? That will come back. Okay, we'll do this also. What does this reflex means? So for that, we need to wait till then. Okay, let's do this one. How we have to do is, I know this angle plus this angle is angle AOC plus BOE is 70 degree. Okay, so can I calculate the value of angle COE? Can I calculate this angle? Can I do this? How can I calculate this angle? Tell me. Yes? How can I calculate? Yes, so I know that these three angles, okay, let's do this way. Okay, let's do it this way, that this is a straight line, okay? Let's form this. This is a straight line that is given to us, and this is a ray. Okay, with this, it shows that angle AOC COE plus angle EOB is equals to how much? 180 degree, because it is a linear pair, right? And we know that angle AOE, this big angle, is equals to angle AOC plus angle COE, right? This is what it means. So on adding these two, putting the values here, using this equation and putting the values here, we know that sum of all the three angles will be 180 degree. Now we already know that these two angles, angle AOC and BOE, is equals to 70 degree. That means this angle, angle COE, will be angle COE will be equal to 180 degree minus 70 degree. That comes out to be how much? 110 degree. Clear? So we have calculated this angle, 110 degree. Why have we calculated this angle? Because this information was given, and whenever the information is given, that means it will be used for sure. Okay. So this is 110 degree. So let me erase. So far we have calculated this as 110 degree, and this is already given to us, it is 60 degree. The same logic applying that this is a straight line, right? And this is a ray. And now these three angles sum will be 180 degree, directly doing it. Otherwise, we know that these angle DOE plus angle COE will form a linear pair. Their sum is equals to 180 degree. We also know, as given in the figure, that angle DOB plus angle BOE is equals to 180 degree, is equals to total angle DOE. I'll repeat it. Angle DOE, the bigger angle, will be equal to angle DOB plus BOE. Putting their values back, that we have done at the first one, putting their value, replacing it, that means that these three sums will be equal to how much? 180 degree. Now we know the sum is equals to 180 degree. 180 degree minus 110 degree minus 60 degree. Right? So 180 degree minus 170 degree. Their sum becomes 170, right? So on subtracting 170 degree, we get the value as 10 degree. Perfect. So we have calculated this value which was needed in the question, that this is 10 degree. Clear? We have calculated this angle. Moving to this one, it says reflects angle COE. So we have calculated the angle COE, that is 110 degree. So is it that answer? Yeah. Is it that answer? No. We cannot say that angle COE. Reflects angle COE is equals to 110 degree. Reflects means the opposite one. This one he's talking about, not this one. So what will be the value of reflex one? Yeah, think over it. I'll give you just 1 second for this. How will I calculate the reflex angle of angle COE? Yeah. Yes, we'll subtract from 360 degree. We know the sum is 360 degree. So 360 degree minus 110 degree. So what does that come out to be? $250 degrees. So this is the answer. Okay, so we got the angle 10 degree and we got the reflex of COE equal to 250 degree. Now today what all we have learned so far, we have understood what is intersecting and non-intersecting lines. We have understood the pairs of angles, what are linear pairs, which are the two rules that we generally follow, and this is the base of geometry, and this cannot be questionable. We cannot question, this is already proved or it is taken for granted. We can say that like that also. We have learned adjacent angles, complementary angles, vertically opposite angles, Supplementary. So remember, complementary stands, whatever you need, someone gives you complimentary, it's always a small gift. So the sum is equals to 90 degree. Supplementary is something extra which your body needs. So the sum of the two angles should be equal to 180 degree. And we have also done the questions based on this: adjacent, supplementary, and vertically opposite. I hope you have understood today's class, and thank you so much for being there with me, and I'm happy to teach you all. Okay, I hope you like the session. So kindly subscribe and press on the bell icon for the YouTube channel so that you do not miss the third update. So you get the notification before and in advance also that I am there with you with the third session. Hope to see you there. Press on the like button if you like it. Okay, take care. Bye bye, students. Meet you in the next session.